Hello, everyone. Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains, Headbanging Life with another episode of the Flashback series. Unlike all the other ones we normally do, we're having to do this remotely due to lockdown situations. So I'm at my place, Damon's at his, and we're going to have a go at doing episode 50, the 50th one, this way. Damon, you all right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Right, so the 50th episode, call it fate, call it blind luck. It was never planned this way, that it would be Discworld 2, missing presumed, or Discworld 2, mortality bites, depending upon which country you played it, that it would be the 50th episode. As soon as I realized we were hitting 50, and I saw we had this one on the list, I was like, right, we've got to make sure that's the 50th, because if you don't know, game is probably the most important game I've ever of my life. It changed my life. We have a video on, it's as of recording, it's not online yet, but it will be up, where I talk about the 10 most important games in my life. Not my favorite games, the 10 most important games in my life. This is one of them, because this prompted a love of Terry Pratchett's Discworld series, which in turn changed my life. My entire arm, my body is covered in tattoos related to him. Discworld is a massively important game. And this one, not the original, is the important one, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll go through little bits about it. As always, likes, dislikes, favourite moments, scenes, bits of music. Discworld 2, Missing Presumed, released as Discworld 2, Mortality Bites in North America, is the second point-and-click adventure game based on Terry Pratchett's series of fantasy novels set on the mythical Discworld. The game was developed and produced in 1996 by Perfect Entertainment for the PC and ported in 1997 for the PlayStation and Sega Saturn. It was published by Psygnosis, I think that's how you say it, Psygnosis, for the PC and PlayStation, and by Sega for the Saturn, but only in Europe. In Discworld 2, the players control Rincewind the Wizard, spelt with 2 Zs, who has been burdened with the task of coercing death out of his impromptu retirement back to his regular duties. The game borrows from a number of Discworld books, but the plot is essentially a mesh of Reaper Man and moving pictures. So, likes, dislikes, favourite moments, scenes, bits of music. Do you want to get us started with some likes?
My first one is going to be the fact it's a very colourful game.
Oh, brilliant. That's literally my first one as well. Bright and colourful and very imaginative.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's literally every scene, it's designed perfectly. I mean, considering that it was, I think it was ported from the PC to the PS1 when it was PS2.
Yeah.
Considering it was ported, I think they've done a very good job with this.
You're absolutely right. Visually, the game stands out wonderfully. They're really sharp colours. Everything has this really interesting and fascinating look. Every new area has something wow to look at with that really vivid colour scheme. Talking of which, there's a load of variety in locations. And as a fan of the series of books, you really get to wonder the locations of the disc. From Ankh-Morpork to the deserts, to the likes of Jelly Baby, to Holywood, to Death's Domain. There's a hell of a lot of places you get to go.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's a very big open world. Not open world, but it's very, very big areas to explore.
Yeah, it allows a massive amount of locations of the disc, of that world, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Voice acting. It's great. It's very, very over the top, very British. I don't know if you noticed that. Very British. A lot of people do. I don't know if you noticed, but Rob Brydon?
I literally only found out about. I was searching it. It's the guy from the Young Ones.
Yeah, he's one of the voices. Yeah. God, who is it in the Young? Neil from the Young Ones. Yeah, Neil. Yeah. Rob Brydon, who you'll know from the likes of Gavin and Stacey and certain panel shows and things like that, does a lot of the voices. And my version of Rincewind forever will be Eric Idle of Monty Python, who does the voice of Rincewind.
Yeah.
He is. I always thought the actor. Do you know Mackenzie Crook?
I've heard the name before.
Yeah, he's in Pirates of the Caribbean and things like that, and he was a star of the British Office, The Office, the one with Ricky Gervais.
Yep.
I always thought he looked like my perfect Rincewind, but Eric Idle is my perfect voice. And lastly, for my likes, nail the practice silliness and humour. Yeah. You got any more?
Yeah, so I've got again, I've gone for all the characters.
Mm.
There's a massive range of characters, some which are funny, annoying. I mean, one which I can pick out right now straight away is the green ogre.
The great ogre or imp?
Imp, sorry, the green imp. Sorry, imp.
Is this the one that sings really high pitched?
Yeah.
That fucking character's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, you can be stuck in that scene for about half an hour trying to figure out what to do, and all she does, or he does, is sing the same song over again. It's so annoying.
You're right.
It's funny too. It's funny at the same time.
It's jarring as fuck, and it's all to get her boots, which are steel boots with the magnet. Yeah. Okay, any more?
And yeah, I mean, one of the other ones. I mean, other than Windswind, you got Death. Death's a brilliant character. I think it's the whole story. I mean, the whole story is fantastic, but just Death is just brilliant character.
Yeah, the story is said at the start. It's a mashup of several Discworld books, but mainly the two books, Reaper Man, which has Death get tired of doing Death stuff, which is exactly like the game, and Moving Pictures, which is the Hollywood part of the game as well. Any more likes?
No, that's about it.
Well, like everything, nothing is perfect. It has some faults. You've already named one of them, which is that annoying character. I'm going to start with the last act. It's very short, very easy, and not befitting of such an expansive game. So the last act is literally one location at the bottom of the tower of the university. And it's simply one puzzle, which is you've got to fill the bladder with water, get the broomstick from Granny, fly up to the Queen Elf, and knock her off. And that's the final act. What about you? Have you got any dislikes?
Again, it's probably just being picky because it is quite a good game. I've gone for like the loading screens.
Okay.
You know, I mean, obviously it's a PC port, so obviously it's not going to be great. But I mean, just like from every time we go from like a different area, the loading's a good couple of minutes. You know, so it's being
not
picky.
That long.
Well,
not a couple of minutes.
Probably like 10. I mean, basically a Resident Evil open the door style loading screen.
Yeah, I do agree with you. There are some lengthy loading screens. Yeah, but being and as well, I must say, although I don't think it's a dislike, bear in mind this is not for you, but for anyone watching who's never played. This is a point and click game.
Yeah.
Your time is spent listening and talking to characters. You know that is part and parcel of it. But I get why that doesn't appeal to people. Well, you already touched upon an annoying voice, but you forgot another annoying voice. Is my only other dislike. The suffragette character that's in the cemetery, who's when you first come in there, you hear her from distance going, "We shall overcome," and she's got her voice. It grates on me where I literally won't do the conversation tree with her beyond the things you have to do.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite moments, scenes, bits of music. Do you want to get us started if you've got any?
I mean, probably one of my best moments in the game is the bit where you got what's her name? I think it's Marilyn Monroe. Where you got to get blow her dress up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know the Marilyn.
I think that
the
whole
milkmaid.
scene there, it's a really cool scene, you know.
Yep. You go into the sewers. When you get the bellows, you use the bellows under the grate, and you all do all this, and she does the whole Marilyn Monroe thing, holding a dress down, and you do it to get glitter from her dress.
Yeah.
I know the game too well. I've already mentioned it's one of the most important games I've ever played, if not the most important game. But I am going to touch upon the music. It has fantastic music a lot of the time. Sometimes it's got terrible music, other times great. But I want to point out some of my favorites. The music that played in the location that's called The Shades. the map screen of Unseen University, the overarching map screen. I love that. Really, really magical. Death's Domain. I love how echoey and the ticking of the clock and all that wonderful stuff. And several of the locations of Hollywood, particularly inside the dressing room, the catchy beat of that, I love it. Anything else to add?
I mean, just the fact that I've never actually read the books, so I mean, obviously I played obviously the first one and the second one, so obviously my only experience is actually playing the games. I mean, I do have to read the books at some point because obviously I'm guessing obviously you mentioned it ties in with the books, certain books.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. If you read Reaper Man and particularly Moving Pictures, you'd recognize that's how I got into the series.
Yeah.
Now we're talking nearly 50 main series books and so many side stories and all that. Obviously, Terry's now dead, so there won't ever be any more Discworld books. So yeah, it's all there. I have. You can't see it, but it's this entire bookcase here, from the very bottom to the top, is everything Discworld related. I've got some wacky shit. I have this here, which is a tiny version of the first book. So like the writing is really small and stuff like that. I've got this is one of my favorite things. I even have an album that someone did that is based upon music, like doing music from the Discworld. I have quiz books. I have maps. I have artwork, massive art books. I have coloring in books. I have cookbooks. There's a lot of Discworld stuff out there, and I love collecting it. You know.
Wasn't it like there was a TV series on it at some point with David Jason, was it?
Oh, don't get me fucking started on that. Right, so this is completely off topic of the game, but we will mention it now then. Back in the day, there was, where are they? They're all the way over there. I can't go get them. There were way back in the day, there were 2 cartoon TV series done. One for soul music and one for Weird Sisters, 2 of the books. They were cartoon TV series, animation, and they were split into like 6 episodes and then put into one thing for the DVDs. They were the only thing they were done. The animation's awful. They're not great representations. And the best thing is Christopher Lee voiced Death, that kind of thing. Then there was nothing, because Discworld is notoriously hard to adapt. And then a couple of years ago, some genius at the BBC went, let's do The Colour of Magic and The Light Fantastic, which are the first 2 books. And they put them together, which makes sense because the books go together as well, and went, let's do that. And while I was so happy, they instantly lost me by having David Jason, who was a brilliant actor, well respected in this country and the world, hopefully, but him playing Rincewind. The fuck? Rincewind is a young man. Lost me straight away. I watched The Colour of Magic, and I disliked it so heavily because I thought it was too cheesy for my liking. The one thing they did right was they had Sean Austin, who you'll know as Sam from Lord of the Rings and the Goonies back in the day. He played a character called Two Flower, and I think he was really good at that.
He played it well, yeah.
But later, after The Colour of Magic and The Light Fantastic, they would also do Dare to do one of my all-time favourite Discworld books. Where is it? Hold on. Bear with me. They would then follow up and do another one, which was Going Postal, which is one of my favourite Discworld books. I love the character of Moist von Litvig, and they made that into a thing. And I was like, you gits. But I gave it a go. And it was actually all right up to a point. And then they changed one of the most important plot points of the story, where a female character, rejects his proposal in the book, which is important to his character to show that he can't, and important to her character. In the fucking TV version, she just goes, okay then, and goes off for a ride with him. I stopped. I actually stopped watching it and went, that's it, done, no. So yeah, I'm very passionate about Discworld. But back to the topic and point, Discworld Missing Presumed. Would you say this is your favorite point and click? And you know what other one I'm referring to. Do you like this more than Broken Sword?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I found Broken Sword, I mean, a lot more difficult than Discworld.
Really?
It was a lot more challenging.
Interesting. The first Broken Sword or Broken Sword 2?
I mean, my knowledge of Broken Sword ain't that good, to be honest. I've only played it maybe once or twice.
Okay.
But obviously Discworld 2, I've played it some. I mean, I've got it up on my shelf. I've played it so many times.
Good. It's actually one of the only PlayStation originals I have as well. I've kept around. All right, we're gonna wrap this one up because we've been wandering on for fucking ages. Discworld 2, Missing Presumed, or Mortality Bites. Which name do you prefer?
I like the Missing Presumed.
I actually prefer Mortality Bites. I think because the missing, it goes missing ? Presumed !
Yeah.
It's just weird. Well, yeah. I actually quite like Mortality Bites. I think that fits.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
There you go. Episode 50 of the Flashback. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on GBHBL.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?